o'clock. All right, let's get this, maybe we can beat the rain. It's the regularly scheduled meeting, Columbia City Redevelopment, July 14, 26. Okay, roll call.
Today's August
Wrong
11th.
one. Flip it.
Huh?
August
Today's
11th.
August 11th.
Anyway, here, is it like, anyway, we'll do roll call first. All right, and then we will go from there. Pat. Here. And Scott.
You.
Angela.
Here.
And you.
Dave.
Dave?
Here.
Yeah, I knew that. But I think tomorrow.
I am here today.
Carl, I'm here also. So we have everyone here today. First item on the agenda will be approval of the minutes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, it carries. All right, now we will go through old business, LM&L. Didn't hear much of anything on it, didn't spend much of anything on it, so it's kind of where it is. So I think it's still in process. There was some changes at items, so people retiring out and people coming in, so it's just kind of sitting there. So anyway, it's not getting any worse. Any release. All right, next item on the agenda, Van Buren, Washington Street. That's Mr. Hill, and he's left.
Chip? There, are you asking about Chip?
Yeah.
He's gone.
He's gone.
He's in the most magical place on earth.
Oh, like he didn't quit or get fired or
No,
anything? Oh,
no.
okay.
He's still a part
I
of
was like,
the city.
I was like, oh, that was.
No, he's still part of the
gosh,
city.
that awkward.
That sounds
No longer with us.
yes.
I was like, jeez, did something happen?
Green Hill?
Got it. He's got mouse ears on.
Yeah, yeah, he has mouse ears.
Got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
not a halo,
Sheesh.
not a halo, mouse ears.
Yes.
Got it. Roger.
Okay, we have no report.
No report on that one.
Okay, former Whitley County Jail.
Yep.
You want to explain where things are at?
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor?
So we have set up we've set up multiple meetings actually. We've worked with Veritas, who is our economic development consultant. They've set up right now 3 different kind of interview meetings, if you will, with other firms, with 3 of the 4 interested parties that we've heard from, one of those being the one that actually submitted a proposal and that was rejected. The other, like I said, 3 of the 4 we've now set up meetings with on, looks like August 20th and the 21st. The 4th one, I don't know where that's standing right now, but there is certainly still interest in the jail, which is great. As you remember, we only had 1 proposal that came in. Once we did the quiet period, then we had a couple other individuals that were interested, so we can effectively negotiate now because we've done the RFP and that whole process. So now we can really get down to negotiation piece. So those literally just got scheduled, I think, yesterday, or at the very least Friday. So that's probably new news to Greg and Carl because it literally just happened. But I will make sure that you get that information for sure.
Okay.
And so I guess my point is that's good news, is that we're having conversations with at least 3 and probably 4 different individuals / firms that have an interest of doing something that will impact for the better our downtown.
Okay, that's good. Okay, next item on the agenda is Smith Brothers property. That's the one where the submission was sent in to IDAM, and apparently the dude retired that was supposed to examine it, so it had to get resent to a different person, because I I think everybody that works for the state that can is trying to get out of there.
Yes,
So-
I think that's a very fair comment.
Yeah, so, anyway, there's a lot of change of
Is
personnel.
that Andy Zay, who apparently really wants to continue
Yeah,
to work?
I saw
He wants to
that
get back
this
in.
morning.
You take some, you leave some, yes.
I don't know that he, I don't know that he was really doing that bad a job down there.
I think, well, yeah.
He just was in the wrong place at the right time. Okay, so that is our old business that's on the agenda. Does anybody have any other old business?
all that shuffling happening. But I do know that it is her intent to come back.
Awesome. Thank you, that's all.
Okay.
My old business is just to give you an update on where we're at with the Musselman TIF. We are,
That's the Kroger
so
guy.
there are a lot of things. This is the apartment TIF that's over on the northeast side of the city, off of Liberty Drive and River Bluff Drive there. So they have proposed multiple TIF districts, I think 4 officially. And that would be each of the 4 phases of their development. So therefore, you'd have 25 years on each of those individual TIF districts, okay? We are working with our financial consultant, Baker Tilly, to run some numbers for us as to what those TIF districts will actually generate from a revenue standpoint. So we don't overpromise and underdeliver on that. Full disclosure, they have requested 100% of the revenue from all 4 TIFs. I have already told Mr. Musselman that's a non-starter, because there are public services that are going to be given to that TIF district through that 25-year period that should be paid for some way. And so 100% 25 years for all 4 TIFs is a no-go. However, we also understand there is a fairly significant, I think the number's $2 or $3 million of infrastructure upgrades that need to happen to support that development. Also, the Plan Commission has effectively said they need to have the road all the way through the development rather than just doing it in a phased way, because they're starting on the south end, which means they would direct a lot of traffic through name is escaping me. Say Countryside Mobile Home Park, but also
Denzel.
Not
Denzel, thank you. I was gonna say DePoy, but it's not DePoy, that's the other side.
Denzel.
Anyways, Denzel Drive.
Yeah.
So, and that is a lot of traffic going down through that neighborhood. So what we have said is that we need to figure out a way to get the road all the way through their development.
At least for construction traffic.
Yes,
Yeah.
well, not just construction
Or
traffic,
emergency.
but for residential traffic too, so that they can get out to Liberty Drive
Yeah.
that way, rather than going all the way over the river and through the woods to get through the mobile home park. So, I say all that to say that, we are kind of in the negotiation stage, if you will. They still have some annexation that they need to do for a couple of the parcels that are, the majority of the parcels are in the city limits, but there's a couple for the development that are outside the city limits, so they have to, we're working on that. We're working on the financial piece. And once we have the financial piece, then the hope is, I think it's actually tomorrow, I'm planning to have a meeting with Mr. Musselman to talk through some different items and maybe do a little bit of negotiating as to what we think we're able to do or what we're willing to do. I know what this development has gotten from other communities, so I know what they've negotiated in the past. My assumption is, just to kind of tell you where my thinking is right now, and this is not a secret necessarily, but maybe doing 100% of the revenue for the first TIF district, because everything is front-loaded from an infrastructure standpoint, and then going at a lower percentage for the other 3 TIF districts to ensure that there's revenue to support public safety and other things in that district, while at the same time making sure that we're covering the debt service that they're gonna have to do as a part of that. So, again, there's a lot of give and take there. Thankfully, we don't believe we're gonna need to bond Instead, it'll be more of a
Yeah.
revenue replacement scenario, which is really good. That makes it a lot easier for us. We are working with Ice Miller, who's our bond counsel, as well as Baker Tilly, who's our financial consultant. So, Greg, have I missed anything?
No, to me, the big news was they aren't requesting a bunch of money from us up front.
Up front,
That we
yes.
probably, doesn't look like we're gonna have to buy.
Yes.
Which would save expenses, transactional
Yes.
fees specifically. The only other thing I was gonna note, so that you know how this works conceptually, or would work conceptually, I believe, is that we would designate the whole area what's called an EDA, or an economic development area. And in the past, and I'm clarifying this because we've never done it this way in the past. In the past, we then said that whole EDA is an allocation area, which is another term for a TIF district. What would happen is we would designate the whole thing an EDA, and then have these separate allocation areas come online, presumably to start the 25-year clock for
Yes.
the term of them later on, and to preserve our ability to sort of use the TIF to help with the development.
Yes.
Is that
Yeah, that's
your
very fair.
understanding,
That's
Kumar?
very fair. So, and I would also say Tad and David and I are a part of the Economic Development Commission. You may remember that, maybe you don't. We are a part of we are the three members of the Economic Development Commission that will need to meet in the near future to establish that area in need of redevelopment, or that, what'd you call it?
EDA, it's an economic
Yeah, that
development,
EDA,
yeah.
if you will. So, that's my first shot across the bow, that there will be a meeting at some point in the near future about that. But I guess I say all that to say, I think we're progressing really well. We are not progressing as fast as what the developer would like, but I feel like we are trying our best to work at the speed of business as well as government can. So that's on Musselman. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have about that, if I can answer them.
So really no wiggle room on the 25 years.
I think it's a hard question to answer, David. I think there is potential wiggle room on that, depending on how we negotiate the totality of the agreement, right? It may be something where we say, okay, we can front load X and Y, but not Z and A, right? Maybe it's something where we can say, that first one is 25 years to make sure we're paying for infrastructure. Second one is maybe, 100% for 10 years, and then another 50% for, there's different ways we can structure each of those individual TIF districts, which is the nice thing about having 4 different TIF districts, because we can negotiate that a little bit and structure it the way we want. But I certainly understand from a school's perspective of the revenue that would come off of that, especially knowing that you're probably gonna have kids in that apartment complex. So I think that is another thing that's kind of being taken into consideration of how do we make sure that we continue to provide the needed revenue for public safety, for schools, for parks, for those kind of things that those individuals are going to be using, the residents of that area, while at the same time making sure that the infrastructure costs are being covered and things to that effect. So, again, lots of negotiations still left to go on that, but there will ultimately be a time, and I'm trying to lay this all out for you the best I can, there will be a time where this redevelopment commission will need to approve those things or discuss and disagree. But also there will be a time in which you all will have to approve, negotiate, disagree, whatever, on effectively TIF pass-through. I mean, and I don't know if it'll be direct TIF pass-through or it'll be a fee-for-service agreement or things like that. There's lots of ways we can structure it, but ultimately, the additional tax revenue that's being captured by the TIF that needs to go toward public safety, go toward schools, go toward those things. So this is gonna be a completely different TIF than we've ever done, okay? But I think it's a real positive thing that will help our community's growth. It'll certainly help with the diversity of housing And we can make it in such a way that it's gonna benefit all residents, so.
Well, and I think, for the school, it's a give and take as well, because we, although we don't get the tax
Yes.
revenue, and we most certainly, given everything that's going on right now with
Yes.
funding,
Yes.
we definitely need that. But if we get more kids there, our enrollment increases,
Yeah.
we get some more revenue.
Yes.
So, my concern is, or I guess what my voice would say is the shorter we can keep those.
Yes.
Those repayments.
Sure. That's fair.
The better.
Yep, absolutely. Anything else on Musselman? The other thing would be on the Bushy TIF. I would say we're in the very beginning stages of that, even though I would say he's probably further along in the construction timeline, even though he hasn't broken ground. Like, he's ready to move yesterday. The Regional Development Authority has given him, effectively, has committed $1 million to the project for infrastructure purposes. So, like, there's a lot of good things happening there, but the TIF district side of that is moving slower in that portion, just so you're aware.
Right now,
Yes.
it's subject to, I think it was BZA. I've got to remember whether it was the BZA or the Plan Commission. I think it was the BZA.
Which hat? Yep.
Which hat it was. But they are held up, it was BZA, because they were asking for some side yard setback variances.
There's another public hearing sign posted out there too.
And
Yeah.
and it may be because of that. So it went, there were only 3 members of that 5-member board.
Yeah.
They were not able to get it resolved. And so that's gonna bump to the next date, when they hopefully will have all of the BZA members there.
Yeah.
So that has slowed that down.
Yeah.
In terms of the building part of it.
Yes.
And I just wanted to let you know, there are all these different moving parts at the same time. That will be a different kind of a TIF as well, because at least a portion of it is gonna be a residential TIF. Actually,
Yes.
I think most of the stuff we're working on will be residential.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying to think, I don't think there's any multifamily, there might be like some duplexes,
There's
but
it'll be primarily, if not all, single-family housing. It'll be about 2/3 of the property is what I've kind of said will end up being housing. So you will have a housing TIF. So let me back up. So I think, as I understand, there will be the EDA area, which is the totality of it, and then 2/3 of it will be the housing TIF, and 1/3 of it will be a traditional commercial TIF, right? Musselman is a commercial TIF because it is multifamily housing. So, again, I know we got a lot of pieces working on it, trust me, I feel it every single day, but long story short is there are lots of good things happening, it's just, government, unfortunately.
and that is distinguishable from Musselman, and Musselman is market-based.
Yes.
Multifamily. This other development is single-family residences and duplexes.
Yes, but also also a market rate.
Right, and market rate, and not rentals.
Yes,
And are supposed to be more like starter homes. They are actually really, really trying, this was a big push in the BZA meeting, to try to get new homes in the neighborhood of $200,000 as opposed to higher. I'm just telling you,
that
that's,
is, I mean,
that's the world we live in for.
Yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
trying to build it.
But so it is very heroic, I think, at one level what they're doing, but they're right now negotiating with the land use folks as to how much we can compromise to fit in enough houses to get the prices
I
down.
got mine, because
Yeah.
all my friends' wives told me I needed a house. So, I said, okay, I'll build it.
Then you found out what your friends really were, didn't you?
Now, then they wanted me to buy furniture. Pretty soon I had a lot of money in this thing, and I didn't really care. I was totally happy just laying on a mattress.
so that's the best I have available for the Bushy TIF, at least at this moment.
Okay, these are the fund balances in our different funds that we got to draw upon. The first one here is called professional expenses, which, not that it's there, but I believe this one is, the title of it is the RLF. There's about 199,000 in there, so if you got any for, that needs something, that'd be a good one. The next one is the TIF districts, the 3 TIF districts. There's 103,000 in the railroad, there's 204 in the downtown, and there's 764 in the Lang.
$764.
Dollars.
And what?
Dollars. Not thousand.
Where's the last
Dollar,
one?
individual dollars, yes.
Where was the last one at? What is
That's
it?
that Langlo tip.
Oh,
Off
got
of
it.
30.
Yeah.
Out there off the 30. And the last one is business and professional expenses, I believe. Oh, this is the remediation. We've got 160, let me read this, 166,000
In remediation.
in remediation.
For the LML.
Or that's
And
the
related,
LM&L project
Okay.
that's
Oh.
left.
Oh.
So we're gonna close it if we get
We
this
may end up
closed
having some
out.
money left over.
Yeah, well, we might.
That initially,
As time goes by, we can figure it
I
out.
believe when we initially got that,
Settlement.
yeah, the settlement, I think there was an expectation of, most of it dwindling away over the years.
Yes.
But that we would have some money left at the end.
Yes.
So I was thinking it was gonna be like 200,000 or
Yeah,
230,000, so.
Well, if we get 100,000, I'll be happy, so.
Yeah,
But,
that'd be wonderful.
and again, here's the other deal, and we've talked about this before, but if there's more development that's gonna take place next door and it becomes a package deal, you at least have some ability to blend those funds for the benefit of the LML property, if you will. So I mean, the
So-
nice thing is that you have some cushion. Go ahead.
Are they restricted funds?
So they are not, they're restricted to a specific area. So like, you can't take those funds and use them for a downtown project, right? You use those funds for the benefit of that LNL property. And
Okay.
and Greg, I don't know if you remember
No,
those
that's,
restrictions.
I think
but-
that's, Marcia drafted
Yes.
the ordinance up, but it was my understanding that basically it would have to benefit at very least the railroad corridor, but that it, yes, it's a real sound, it would be a real sound use to invest it back in the LML property, especially if we combined it with the old Smith property. Yeah, that's, I
Yeah.
think that's pretty safe.
Yeah,
yeah. So kind of restricted.
Well, yeah, no, that makes.
Not by
sense.
state law, but I think the
By the
city
fund,
imposed
by the
this.
fund, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and to be fair, I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like the agreement in the insurance settlement piece had some kind of mandate that it had to go toward the remediation or improvement of that property. Now, I'm not sure how tight that language is, but something in my brain says that that's.
I don't think that's a
So.
bad policy.
No. And again, frankly, if we go to the insurance settlement for the other properties, I'll say, because we, are former sort of current owner of one of those properties, I think that there will be additional dollars there, obviously, for settlement and cleanup of it, just a matter of what the cleanup cost is gonna be. Same thing with LML, so.
Okay, does anybody have any new business they want to discuss? Okay, hearing none, shall we adjourn?
Didn't mean to throw that at you.
Now we